I just want to thank you for, well, everyone for coming, and then the Foot Collective for coming all the way from Australia to Kington. I'll let them explain who they are, because I'll do it a lot better than me, but hopefully they'll validate everything I've been telling you guys all this time. So, yeah, it's really, honestly, feel so honoured to have you here. It's just fantastic. So, over to you guys.
Thanks, Ali. Thanks everyone for coming. This is a bit surreal. I'll try and give a bit of background to the Foot Collective, just for anyone who's not familiar, and I'll do my best to keep it short. But it was actually originally started by a Canadian physiotherapist called Nick St. Louis, and I'm a physiotherapist as well. I'm Jim, by the way, based in Brisbane, Australia, and I saw what Nick was doing on Instagram, and the biggest thing that stood out to me was actually these green balance beams that he was balancing on barefoot as a way to train the function of the feet and to integrate the foot function with the rest of the body. And I was already wearing barefoot shoes at that time, and I was working with chronic back pain rehab programs. And everyone coming into the rehab programs, that it was through a neurosurgeon that I was working with, and so there were people who were sort of ready for surgery on their back, and they'd gone to lots of different practitioners, and usually that one avenue with back pain is to look into more support and more cushioning in the shoes. And so there was all of these people coming in with very thick supportive shoes and cushions, and it kind of looked like they were just walking around on pillows, and I was training them how to do these sort of fundamental human movements that were aimed at improving their back pain, but they were sort of wobbling around on their shoes and had no connection with the ground. And so it was a bit of a light bulb for me, thinking that I'm trying to train people how to move, but they can't feel the ground. It's as though they're missing a really important sense. Just like if you were missing your eyesight, then it would be a lot harder to learn movements as well. So I got involved and realised that I wanted to be a part of spreading the message and selling the green beams in Australia, because I asked Nick to buy one that was going to be about twice the price of the beam to ship it from Canada, so I thought it would be cool to make that more available in Australia. And I launched my own, this is long story short, I launched my online store and had a big $700 order come through on the first day, and that was this guy right here, a podiatrist in Melbourne, and that kind of blew my mind, because my understanding was podiatrists aren't really on this train, but fortunately Andy is, and he's stuck around ever since, like a bad smell, and we bring him along everywhere now. And then during the COVID times, I was living with Mac, who's my best mate from high school, and I kind of brainwashed him, got him doing barefoot walks and dingling a little bell to say walkies, and he'd kick his shoes off, and we'd go for a walk and get lots of odd looks from everyone along the river. And I convinced him to become a business partner, and then we, ever since, all of us have just been doing our best to make this whole approach to foot health as accessible as possible, because while a lot of people have a very smooth experience getting into barefoot shoes, or what we would call natural footwear, a lot of people have trouble, and it's not necessarily as easy as just putting them on. For one, it can be a very important it can be very important to have a transition period to allow your feet time to adapt. But two, we really see that barefoot shoes are necessary, but not sufficient to restore natural foot function. And that's simply because we don't actually spend enough time in nature. Pretty much all of the ground we walk on is flat and level. And so we create training systems and products, nifty little products like this, to help add more natural inputs back into the feet, so that they can have a better time with barefoot shoes, and also so people can improve their balance while having fun, because our feet are our foundation for balance. And so if we don't seek out challenges to our balance, then our feet can become weak and stiff. And whereas if we do balance on things, especially, I'll show you this later, especially things like this that are not flat and level. And this is kind of the iteration of the green balance beam that I was talking about. If we don't do that, then we miss out on a lot of the nutrients that our system needs to maintain balance and function throughout our life, and that's why we see all of the very high rates of falls in today's, especially in modern societies. So that's something I'm very passionate about preventing. I have worked in aged care as well, and had a lot of connection with the residents who, most of which were put into care because of a fall and they couldn't regain their independence. So I became very passionate about making balance training and foot training as fun as possible. So yeah, that's my job now with the Foot Collective as head of training, and I co-create most of the training systems to help people get into this world and like I said, have a smooth journey with their transition to footwear, to barefoot footwear.
Great.
Pass over to Andy.
Thanks, Jim. So I'm a podiatrist in Melbourne, and as you know, I bought some beans off Jim about 8 years ago because I had been practicing as a podiatrist for maybe 15, 16 years, just conventionally, orthotics, ingrown toenails, just the usual thing that podiatrists do. And then through a series of events, ended up doing a lot of yoga because I couldn't exercise the way I used to, and I noticed my own feet getting stronger. I'd been in orthotics for 21 years and stiff heeled shoes, because that's just what you do when you're a podiatrist, and that's what you're told is normal. And so I'd done all the normal things, and then noticed my own feet getting stronger and thought I should be getting my clients' feet to get stronger. This is maybe 6 or 7 years after the big barefoot running movement of the book called Born to Run, when I remember clients coming in and saying, oh, can I run in these shoes? And I would say, no, you can't strengthen your feet, we just have to support them. That's what we're taught at uni, and I think there's still a big message of that from most health practitioners. And so I noticed my own feet getting stronger and thought I should be doing this for other people or helping other people. And so I started doing that and left the practice that I was in because it was not that way inclined, and learned from Nick and Jim, and there's actually a world of these people, and we all are open to sharing and learning from each other. And now I work on my own, still cutting some people's toenails some of the time, but mostly I am dealing with people that are trying to get into these shoes and having issues, or have gone into them and had issues, or want this type of shoe to be part of the solution. So it's kind of the core of my business, of my health business, to help people using these shoes as a tool.